We never thought the day would come when the gods themselves would turn their backs on our kingdom. But when it happened, none of us were surprised. Let me tell you about the wicked Princess Zala. She was the only child of our great king Ebiub, a man loved by the people. But Zala was nothing like her father. From a young age, she had no regard for anyone in the community. She saw herself above us all, and her heart was as cold as stone. She ruled through fear, and if anyone dared speak against her, they would face severe punishment. The old women would whisper to each other, saying, "She has no soul." The men would bow their heads in shame, knowing their voices meant nothing. The princess would steal from the poor, take what she wanted, and destroy anyone who tried to stand in her way. Farmers would offer their best harvests to the palace, only to watch her throw it away in disgust. She built grand gardens, filling them with rare flowers and golden fountains, while outside the palace gates, children starved. But no one dared say a word against her, not while the king was still alive. King Ebiub was blind to his daughter's wickedness, and some say it was because he loved her too much. Others whispered that he was afraid of her, for it seemed the princess had no fear of man or gods. Then, one dark night, the king died. His sudden death was a shock to the entire kingdom, but many of us knew deep down that this was the beginning of something worse. Without her father, Zala became even more ruthless. She declared herself the ruler, and with the crown on her head, she made it clear that her will was law. It wasn't long before calamity struck. The first sign came when the river, which had always flowed abundantly, dried up. We had never seen anything like it. The crops withered, the animals grew sick, and the land began to crack under the hot sun. The elders of the village went to the sacred grove to speak to the priest, asking for answers from the gods. And what they heard chilled them to the bone. The gods were angry. They had watched for too long as Princess Zala ruled with cruelty, and now they demanded justice. The calamities were not accidents, they were punishments. The land would not heal until Zala was removed from her throne. But Zala didn't care. She laughed in the face of the priest, mocking their warnings. "I am above the gods," she declared. "No one can touch me." Then came the second sign, a great storm. It came out of nowhere, with winds so strong they tore the roofs of houses and knocked down trees. Lightning struck the palace itself, setting part of it on fire. Still, the princess refused to listen. The people began to whisper more openly now, saying that the storm was the gods' final warning. Even those who had once been loyal to her started to abandon her. Fear crept into every corner of the kingdom, and many fled, leaving behind their homes and lands, hoping to escape the wrath of the gods. But no one could escape what was coming next. One night, the princess went to sleep in her grand chamber, as she always did, surrounded by luxury. But that night, something changed. As the story goes, the earth itself trembled beneath her palace, shaking it from its very foundations. The walls cracked, and the ceilings caved in. Princess Zala woke in terror, but it was too late. The gods had spoken. In the morning, when the people gathered at the palace, they found nothing but ruins. And there, amidst the broken stones and fallen pillars, they found Zala, lifeless, crushed by the weight of her own arrogance. The once mighty princess, who had claimed to be above the gods, had been brought down in the most tragic way. The kingdom mourned, not for Zala, but for the destruction she had caused. It is said that after her death, the river slowly began to flow again, and the land healed. The people rebuilt what had been lost, but they never forgot the lesson they had learned. The gods see all. And when those in power grow wicked and forget the people, the gods will not remain silent forever. I saw it all with my own eyes. And to this day, the name of Princess Zala is spoken only as a warning, a reminder that no one, no matter how powerful, is above justice.